Aloha and welcome, Spartan Ohana, to our very first episode of Spartan Talk. This is kind of a behind the scenes look at Spartan athletics as we move forward in this school year. But of course, unfortunately, due to COVID, everything is kind of shut down right now. But on the mainland, professional sports and college athletes are in full swing. And with us today is our very special guest, Maryknoll class of 2018 alumni, Jhenna Gabriel. Hey, Jhenna, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Okay, one thing that we really wanted to highlight with Jhenna, first of all, for those of you that don't know her, Jhenna, give us just a quick bio on who Jhenna Gabriel is.
Okay, I'm Jhenna Gabriel. I am a junior setter here at the University of Texas at Austin. I am a public relations major and a business minor, and I graduated from Maryknoll in 2018.
Awesome. And for those of you that don't know or haven't been keeping up, Jhenna Gabriel is not just a starting setter for the University of Texas. She's the starting setter of the number one team in the nation, gang. Number one team in the nation. So tell us, Jhenna, what has that experience been like to be the number one team in the nation, starting as a setter?
It is definitely very surreal. Some days I kind of just sit back and think about the fact that that is actually happening, and that is actually my reality, and is definitely a dream come true. And it feels great, and we feel really lucky that we were able to actually play this season because everybody else I know really didn't get the opportunity to do so. So it feels pretty great knowing that we can keep working on our game and actually be able to show it off in these game settings.
So speaking of course, for those people, of course, back home that don't know, not a lot of conferences, of course, are having women's volleyball going on at this time. There's obviously a lot of protocols and procedures that you have to go through because of COVID. Why don't you try and explain some of that that's happening at the University of Texas?
Yeah, so we don't have very many in-person classes going on. And if you do, they're kind of like a hybrid class, and you can choose whether or not you actually want to go to be there in person. So for us, we usually wake up in the morning, we log on to our Zoom classes, whatever times that those may be. Before we head into the facility, we have to fill out a little questionnaire about our symptoms, if we're having any, if we've been in contact with anybody, if we have any questions. And then you go into the facility, they take your temperature, and you're masked up the whole entire time until you step onto the court for practice, and you can finally take it off just for the duration of practice. But other than that, it's really, you wake up, you go to class at home, you go to practice, you pick up dinner, and then you go right back home, go to bed, and wake up and do it all over again.
So how is the COVID protocols with you folks? How often do you folks do testing? Because I know you folks travel to various universities for games.
Yeah, so we get tested 3 times a week
Oh,
while we're in season, um, just to really make sure that nobody's testing positive, and if you are, you try to catch it as soon as possible.
good. Well, Jenna, of course, we're here because, as you can tell by my Spartan backdrop, uh, tell us about your journey here at Maryknoll.
Yeah, so I first came to Maryknoll in 6th grade, um, and I was all stressed out because I was like, "Oh no, this is the first time I'm like the new girl at school," and I absolutely fell in love with it. Mr. Chang was my first teacher there. Absolutely loved him. Um, and I stayed there through middle school, and then I was like, should I apply to go elsewhere? And I ended up applying to go to Iolani and Punahou. I made it into both, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to stay at Maryknoll because I loved it so much. Um, and yeah, I made lifelong friends. I absolutely love the school. I love the teachers and just the tight knit and small community that we had there, and the fact that I got to follow my faith and grow in my faith at the same time while being there was so huge for me, and I would not trade it for the world.
Perfect. Okay, just remember that because we're going to use you as a commercial for Maryknoll School.
Okay.
That's really good, actually. I didn't expect that one, but anyway. What about the future, Jenna? You're a junior, like you said, here at University of Texas. Volleyball only goes to a senior year. There's no professionally, I think, in the mainland or in the United States, but overseas, is that something you're looking at or plans after college?
Yeah, so my plans after college, I had them all very set in stone, and then COVID hit, and then we found out that we were going to play this season and this wouldn't count towards our eligibility at all.
Right.
So if I want to take a fifth year, I can take a fifth year here. And I graduate in the summer. So I'm graduating early so I can start my master's. And when I do end up leaving Texas, my plan is to go and take my fifth year and play beach somewhere else, and finish up my master's and play beach because I absolutely love beach. And from there, I would love to play beach professionally. That's always been a really big dream of mine. But at the same time, if I were to have the opportunity to go overseas and play some professional indoor volleyball, I would 100% take advantage of that opportunity too.
I believe the beach coach at UH locally is Robin Amo. If you're watching this video, Coach Amo, Jenna Gabriel is going to be available in a year or two for beach. We'll get that out to you. Um, Jenna, right now, like you said, you started as a sixth grade student at our grade school in Maryknoll. Right now, there's a ton of young girls watching this video. We have a big, big audience. So anyway, right now there's possibly a sixth grade girl at Maryknoll. She's sitting down, she's watching this video and wondering, oh my gosh, I want to be the next Jenna Gabriel. I mean, what advice can we give to these young girls trying to follow in your footsteps?
I would really just say keep working as hard as you possibly can and make sure that you still love what you're doing, because that makes it a lot easier to work harder if you absolutely love what you're doing. And I'd also say don't get caught up and stressed out about the processes and getting recruited and figuring out where you want to go to school. It's all going to fall into place. Everything's going to work out. All you have to do is keep working hard and surrounding yourself with the right people to help you grow as a person and grow as an athlete, and you'll find your way.
Awesome advice. Okay, Jen, as we mentioned, you're a graduate of course, our beloved school, Maryknoll, class of 2018. What role has Maryknoll played in your current success, or how has it helped you on this journey here at Texas?
When it came to school, Maryknoll did a really good job of pushing me academically, and I loved how tight knit it was and the relationships that I got to build with my teachers in order to do as well as I did in my classes. And at the end of the day, when I graduated, I came to Texas with a whole entire semester under my belt,
Wow.
which has really helped me on my journey to graduate early. And I'm definitely very grateful for that because that definitely gave me a leg up coming in as a freshman.
Okay, Jenna, you were mentioning about the stress and about not stressing out about the whole recruiting process, but it's actually a very big process that for women's volleyball actually starts very, very early. Can you kind of explain to us your journey through that recruiting process?
Yeah, so my recruiting process was a little different than a lot of people's, I think, especially girls in the mainland. Or if you compare my recruiting process to some of my teammates that I play with now, I was recruited kind of later in my junior year, like heavily recruited, especially by Texas. They came into the picture very late, and it was really stressful. I was kind of went through these little times where I would be really stressed out because I thought that I wasn't going to go anywhere. And I was like, I'm a 5'7" setter that lives in the middle of the ocean, and I'm not getting seen by coaches. And when you play club volleyball in Hawaii, you only get seen 2 to 3 times a year.
Mhm.
And that's hard when you're being recruited next to girls that get to play in tournaments on a weekly basis. So I would definitely say when it comes to the recruiting process, like I couldn't even tell you how many emails I probably sent to coaches in high school. I probably sent 700 emails, and I'm not even exaggerating. So you just have to do your best to get your name out there and get your video and your highlights out there. And I know social media is a really big part of it now too. And so building that up and following the right people and just really trying to make a name for yourself, especially next to girls that get to be seen every week, because Hawaii has some really good volleyball players,
Oh,
and sometimes not everybody gets to see that because we don't get the same exposure as everybody else. So I think it's important to not stress out about it and let it affect how you play, and instead just do everything you possibly can to get your name out there using social media or using like your email and getting everything you can out to coaches.
nice. And so what? So when are you coming home? Christmas? You guys coming on Christmas time?
Yeah, I'm coming
Wait,
home for
were your
Christmas.
parents up there? Did they see the Baylor games?
Yeah, they were here for
Oh my
Baylor.
gosh, your dad must have been good. Your mom must have been going nuts.
My mom. Oh my gosh. After the first night, the because it was senior night too, and so all these past senior
Oh
nights,
wow.
we've always gotten hakus for everybody for
Yeah,
all the
I saw
seniors.
that picture of one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. And so as we were trying to figure it out because they're supposed to come, they came a week before Baylor because they were gonna come for the TCU match too. But then
Right. You
TCU
said
got
it.
sick.
Right.
And so yeah, so they went to see my brother, but they brought our one senior Hakule, like a fake one, and it was so nice. I didn't even know they made ones that nice. And then my mom bought me one too. She gave it to me after night one. She comes down to the court and she's just bawling, crying. She tells me, she's like, I didn't even watch the last three sets. I think I said about four rosaries. I couldn't even tell you what happened. I was like, mom, relax. Like, what are you doing?
Before we sign off, Jenna, I know you're homesick at times, living the good life in Texas, but Hawaii is always home. Anybody you want to thank or give a shout out to here at Maryknoll as our Maryknoll Ohana is watching you?
This one is a long list.
Go right ahead.
Definitely you, Uncle Dan, Coach Blaine, there's Uncle Ben, there's Uncle John, there's Coach Luis, thank you. And definitely Auntie Cindy, I miss seeing her face every single day that I would walk into school. I love her forever. And just everybody that has ever coached me at Maryknoll and taught me at Maryknoll. I absolutely love that place and I miss it.
Well, Jenna, you have to make us a promise that when you guys do reach that NCAA championship game and you're hoisting that trophy over your head, don't forget to give a shout out to Maryknoll. And hopefully, our communications team can get passes and be on the court as media
Of
to
course.
watch you do the whole thing. But thanks, Jenna. We really appreciate the time, spending time with us. We know you're extremely busy. Stay safe. Best of luck to you.
I
And
will.
prayers for you as you move forward in your journey.
Thank you.
Aloha.